Hey, you're listening to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 224. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and today we're going to do our very first preview card. Now, hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for this month's bonus Whirlwind Adventure. How you doing?
Oh, good. What is going down?
Whole ton is going down. We have exciting news for the nation, a mini deck tech to go with it. But before we get to either of those two very exciting things, we have to thank our official business daddy, FusionGamingOnline.com. They're a source for all your gaming needs.
Very much so. And Kaldheim?
Kaldheim.
Kaldheim. Sounds like I'm saying my dad's name, and it's his time.
Could be.
Could be. Anyways, Kaldheim available for pre-order at FusionGamingOnline.com.
Right.
Our preview card will be available once singles are available, and everybody should pick them up using CCO Fusion 5 promo code for 5% off your order. Get your maximum value, and when we can start to gather again safely in groups and what have yous, we can sign a preview card like it's no tomorrow.
I'm going to get one and frame it.
I'm going to get one in foil and put it in Studio CCO.
In a frame?
No, probably not. I got the Rebecca card in foil because Rebecca.
Of course.
And it's hanging in the studio.
You didn't get it from me. A whole bunch of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, yours are all foily and bendy and stuff. Everybody's seen the videos.
I've been trying to pawn those cards off on anybody who wants them.
Well, I'll take them. I'll just use them for you know how you're at the bar. Remember when you go to the bar and you could put those little shims under the table so they don't wobble?
Yeah.
Because you're going to see all Commander Legends cards at the bars that Brando goes to once the pandemic's over.
As if you're going to need another one. You just have one and it's so foil bendy that it'll just hold the card up by itself.
Oh, yeah.
Are we dunking on WotC during our preview card episode?
No.
Only in the nation, baby. Only in the nation.
Oh, that's right. So speaking of the nation, if you want to become part of the nation, at CCO Podcast, at CCO Brando on Twitter is a great place to be. Facebook.com/CCO Podcast. And don't forget, Patreon.com/CCO Podcast. You can join the nation officially, get your CCO nickname, become part of the Discord, have your decks featured. We do have a preferred Decklist channel there. The whole shebang. That's how you do it.
Yes.
For a complete listing,
check out CommanderCookout.com.
Got there. So we've got a preview card. It's a Commandy playable, as we think and say. We are doing a little bit of a mini kind of just a YouTube segment in addition to this if you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, which you fucking should. But it is available today. A link will be in the title card thing right there where I was just doing the fucking thing, and you can find that too. So should we get to it?
Like the card?
Yeah.
Yes. Big thanks to Wizards for the absolutely 100% not paid for preview card we're about to show you.
100% free. We only had to beg.
Yes, we only had to sell our dignity. That's not even true. We just dunked on him a minute ago.
Yeah, that's what it cost us.
Yeah.
It cost us dunking on him. So let's get to it though.
The card, Ryan, is Battle of Frost and Fire.
Oh, baby. Metal name, first of all, and not just because metal's the tagline, but that's a cool name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got a rare saga.
They gave us a rare, Ryan.
They gave us a rare.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? So, as this saga enters the battlefield, and after your draw step, add a lore counter, and then you sacrifice it after it has 3 counters.
Because it has 3 chapters.
Yeah. Chapter 1. Battle of Frost and Fire deals 4 damage to each non-giant creature and each planeswalker.
Selective sweepers, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. Chapter 2. Scry 3.
It's fine.
That's fine.
That's a fine chapter 2.
Scry 3 is worth draw a card?
Sure.
I think so. You get enough selection. Eventually, card quality is going to be good enough that your draw is worth more than 1 draw.
Sure.
Yeah. It sets up Chapter 3, which is whenever you cast a spell with converted mana cost 5 or greater this turn, draw 2 cards, then discard a card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so drawing 2 is definitely worth drawing fucking 2.
Yes.
And then you can chuck some dummy out of your hand that you don't want. If you didn't cast this on schedule, like if you waited till turn 6 or 7, if we're going to encourage a long game with the deck that this is going in, you turn 6, turn 9, you'll get to chapter 3. you might have 10 mana, then you can cast 2 5-drops. 2 5-drops will draw you 4 cards and put 2 in your graveyard. 2 like Faithless Looting, or if you drew a Snapcaster Mage, you can just ditch whatever the fuck you want. That's some good value.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of the card? Illustrated by, and we're not exactly sure, but
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Daniel Lundgren.
And we're certain that they are in no way the person from Rocky IV that fought Sylvester Stallone.
Or He-Man from the 1989 Masters of the Universe take.
Yes, we are very certain that it is not that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I love the art. It's kind of like a what would you call that? Not a house, but like a hall. We've got it on the screen here. It's like a hall. What do you call that? Where everybody meets and drinks and
Jorvisker.
Is that what that is?
I think that's the word for the mead hall, the meeting hall. It's the longhouse.
The longhouse, yeah. The longhouse, the mead hall. I like that one too.
Yeah.
We're not very up on Norse mythology terminology. Brando actually knows a lot about it.
I'm getting there. I was a much more Greek myth in my time researching this stuff. I'm brushing back up, and I've learned the 9 realms.
Wow.
I'm getting back into all the things so that when we get to our set review proper later on, I'm going to be freaking ready.
You can know where all of the things point to the things, like in Theros with the Greek mythology. And, and sort of like Lorwyn Block did with like English mythology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, on our other YouTube video, we did go a little bit more into frost giants, ice giants, the gods, the battle, Ragnarok, the world tree. We touched a little bit on it, and I didn't understand fucking any of it, and you seem to understand some of it. You haven't seen the final video edit yet, though, so...
Oh, yeah.
I love the art. I think that it's like a longhouse. There's some mountains. It looks like fire. It looks like some dudes coming in to mess some stuff up.
That's what happens when the frost giants and the fire giants come. They wreck up Asgard.
Yeah, not some more.
Maybe if the Asgardians had lived more up to their names, Ragnarok wouldn't have happened to them.
See, I have no idea. I haven't even seen Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, dude.
Does that tell the story?
No, but there is a fire giant at the end.
Okay.
And he pwns noobs.
Could we superimpose Battle of Frost and Fire and other Kaldheim Ragnarok-esque cards on top of the Marvel movie Thor Ragnarok and make a theme deck? Maybe that's something that
probably could.
That people out in CCO Nation can start to work on, and Brando will understand all of it, and I'll understand none of it, but I'm willing to learn.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be good there.
Now, you and I, you mostly, have a shell or a mini deck tech that we'd like to share. It features Battle of Frost and Fire, our free preview card. Thanks, Wizards.
Yes.
But it also features 3 or 4 other Kaldheim cards.
As we're recording this, obviously the spoilers aren't all out yet.
And we don't want to take anybody else's preview cards and kind of insert them into our decks, but some of them very much do fit.
I think there was 3.
Okay.
That just fits so good into the deck that I put together. It fits all the themes, fits all the stuff, and it's really cool to see those things on cards. So we're gonna appropriate those ones as our own. And put it into this deck that I think when somebody actually builds it, because somebody's eventually going to. If it's not us, it's gonna be sweet.
All right, should we do a deck?
Let's do it. Okay, so is it Giants deck, Ryan?
Yes.
Here's kind of what we got. Now we've done a giant tribal deck recently, and it was awful.
Yeah, it was all vanilla tribal.
Yeah, it was a bunch of trash. But Kaldheim is bringing it up.
Yeah.
Giving us some good giants. We hope. We've seen a couple of good ones at least, and I'll bet you there's going to be at least a few more.
I'm confident there's going to be a few more. I'm hoping that there is an Izzet Giant Commander, and I'll preface our mini deck tech that we're going to do by saying you took a substantially different approach to the deck than I was going to. I was going to find a Jeskai Commander and do some of what you do with Izzet and Giants, because Giants are primarily in red, but there is Kalemne, which is a giant that gives you experience counters.
Right.
And there is Brian Stoutarm from Lorwyn, that is also a giant that fits very nicely with giant stuff from Kaldheim and our cards, but I would have needed to add white. You did not do that.
Did not do that. Don't need it.
So who's our Commandies?
Okun, Eye of Chaos, and Cindersplit, Eye of Wisdom, Ryan.
Those are the coin flippers from Battle Bond, and I thought Okun was a giant.
I did too, which is
too bad.
When I was initially thinking up the deck in my brain, I was like, wait, I think Okun's a giant.
That's perfect,
and
right?
That's red and blue. It's going to be so cool, and like I've always wanted to do what I did here with Okun. This is perfect. And then he's not a giant. He's a Cyclops Berserker.
So we might have an opportunity either now or in the future. Again, we're not looking at other people's preview cards right now. This isn't our preview or our set review.
Right.
But there might be some Berserker shenanigans, right? Lavissa Cold Eyes and what have you. She buffs Berserkers and stuff. But give the two Commandies a read, then we'll start the deck out.
Okay, so Okun, Eye of Chaos is a 3/3 for red 4. Partners with Cindersplit, so it gives you a free shuffle. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, any player, not just you, double his power and toughness until end of turn.
Ooh, and when any player wins a coin flip's good with all those new Krark decks floating around, right?
Yeah, you could rock his thumb in this deck. It'd be good. And we have Cindersplit, Eye of Wisdom. He is a 1/4 for blue 4. Partners with Okun, so it gives you a free shuffle. And whenever a player wins a coin flip, draw a card. He has the same, at the beginning of combat, flip a coin thing that Okun does.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too, is in our blue, maybe giant, maybe spellslinger deck where we care about discarding cards, flashing them back. Maybe we're playing things like Ponder, Brainstorm, Preordain early game to help set up our mana draws because we don't have things like Rampant Growth and like two mana Search for a Land stuff.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't fix mana super great unless you're...
Yeah, if we've got those free shuffles along with those like Brainstorm Scry type effects that fit the theme of the deck, that'll help us hit our land drops. So that free shuffle might actually be pretty good.
You wring every drop of value out of the card, especially your commanders.
Yeah.
There's no useless line on your commander card. And if there is, you should pick a new commander card.
Or adjust deck, my liege.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, gods are a theme in Kaldheim, and it seems they're going back to the god well more and more frequently. We've got Kaldheim, like Norse gods. We've got Egyptian gods. We've got Greek gods. What other gods do we got? We got false gods. Yeah. We've got in our mini deck tech a 2-god section. Now, there's like 20 or 21 cards in the deck, right? So right now there's 2 gods.
Yep, and they are the Locust God, which is a 4/4 flyer for red, blue 4. Whenever you draw a card, you get a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste, and you can pay Izzet 2 to draw a card, then discard a card, and then when it dies, where does it go? It goes into your hand, right? When it eats shit, it goes back to your hand. There we go.
Yeah. So I guess this goes with Battle of Frost and Fires, Chapter 3, cast a 5-drop, draw 2 cards. So we would get 2 bugs with that, right?
Yeah. Oh, man, it turns him into a Siege Gang commander.
Yeah, there it is.
Sort
of on curve, too, right? Like Battle of Frost and Fire on 5, Locust God on 6, for example. You're on, like, your Scry 3 chapter, and then the following turn, you attack with your Locust God or whatever, you draw your cards and you cast something second main, then you get 2 blockers up.
Nice.
Encourage the long game. That's where I'm going with this, is encourage the long game. Leave those blockers up, and that'll get us to, without significant ramp like in green or lots of money with expensive mana rocks, we can get to the long range to start casting our giants, which we'll get to right after Keranos, God of the Storm, or God of Storms.
He is a 6/5 indestructible. So this would be like an OG god.
Yeah.
OG god. Red, blue 3. As long as your devotion to blue and red is less than 7, it's not a creature. Reveal the first card you draw on each of your turns. Whenever you reveal a land card this way, you draw a card. Whenever you reveal a not land, you 3 a creature or player.
Ooh, yeah. And we'll have no problem with that devotion already, just based on the cards that are in the deck.
Yeah.
We've got 5 giants so far, and we're going to look at 2 new ones from Kaldheim. Let's read the 5 current ones, and we'll flip over to the new previews after that.
We got the first one is Sunrise Sovereign.
A 5/5 for 6.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
For giants, it's pretty good. Remember back to our deck. Remember back, Ryan, to the dark days.
Oh, the dark days. That's right. Other giant creatures you control get +2/+2, and have Trampski.
That's okay.
Yeah,
It's all right.
It's at 5/5. You're going to buff 2 or 3 other creatures at a time, so you're getting maybe 6 more power out of the deal. All of a sudden, you get 12 power for 6 mana. That's good.
That is not bad. We got a Stink Drinker Daredevil.
Stink Drinker. Now, I
What about a Dink Stinker?
that is
Daredevil.
not anything I'm interested in Googling. Giant spells you cast cost 2 less to play, and this is a 3-drop, 1/3 goblin.
I love that art too. Look at him. He stole the tooth right out of the giant's mouth.
Or is it his toe?
No, it's his tooth. Look, there's the giant behind him that's chasing him doesn't have a tooth, and then he's holding the tooth with some blood on it and stuff, and he's running away with it. That's so awesome.
I thought for sure that was a fingernail or a toenail.
No, it's his tooth.
Neat.
Guaranteed that's a tooth. So
All
good.
right.
How about Hamlet back Goliath?
Hamlet back Goliath. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may put X +1/+1 counters on Hamlet back Goliath, where X is that creature's power.
Whoa.
Now, couple things. If we played something like Rite of Replication, we could, let's say, early game to mid-late game, late mid-game, we could copy that Stink Drinker Daredevil, and then all of a sudden our giants just cost like red, which is great. But late game, you go Hamlet back Goliath. Next turn, you go Rite of Replication kicked, naming Hamlet back Goliath. All your other Hamlet back Goliaths see each other enter the battlefield all at once, and they all become 36/36s. And then you're like, Okum who? What?
And then Okum just still gets bigger because that's what he does. Oh, man. Countryside Crusher. Now, this is a giant.
Yeah, you read this one because this one's actually good.
This one is important to the deck as well as I have it conceptualized. It is a 3/3 for red, 1 giant warrior. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, you put it into your bin and repeat the process. Whenever a land is put into your yard from anywhere, Countryside Crusher gets a +1/+1 counter.
Counter from anywhere.
From anywhere. If somebody traumatizes you, oh baby, you better believe Countryside Crusher going to respond probably more
by killing them,
by destroying their whole life. Oh,
okay.
He's so good. He's so cool. Doesn't see near enough play.
Yeah.
And last one that we have in here from the old times is Borderland Behemoth.
Ooh, this is a red 5 7-drop 4/4 Trampski.
That doesn't sound very good, right?
No, it sounds like a giant.
Yeah.
Okay. Borderland Behemoth gets +4/+4 for each other giant you control.
Other.
You know what that is? That's Fort of Arms. That's an ability that is.
Oh, 10 out of 10. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. So let's look at some of these new Kaldheim cards that we're gonna add in here.
All right, first guy, and I might actually play this in my personal Brian Stoutarm deck.
I like everything about this card. I like the art. I like what it does. I like the name.
Yep.
I like this card.
Give it a read.
Calamity Bearer is a 3/4 for red 2. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage instead.
Oh, and CCO Nation listing doesn't even know where we're at yet with the doubling of the damages.
No.
Of note, too, Giant Berserker. So this triggers itself.
Yeah, it does work. Yeah, so it does. When it swings, it does frickin'
6/4. Yeah.
Whoa,
6/4 for 4 when it attacks or when it blocks.
When it's doing damage.
Yeah, so that's really good.
We also wanted to add an enchantment. This is important in a deck like this. I like this card where your spells all cost fucking 6 and 7.
Yep.
You play Reflections of Lit Jara for blue.
It's probably Lit Yara?
Lit Yara. Yeah, I like that better.
Okay.
Blue 4. Choose a creature type when it comes into play. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, you copy it.
That's great with what's his name? The guy that Hamlet back.
Hamlet back Goliath or Borderland Behemoth or Calamity Bear. Because if you have two Calamity
double.
Bears, yeah.
Dubsky.
Now he's a 12/4 for 4 as long as he's attacked. Yeah, you like that? I like that.
Okay, our next giant, actually, I think it comes from like a precon, right?
I think it's from the
the theme boosters.
Yes.
Okay, and this is Surtland Flinger. 3 guesses what he does. This is a 6/4 giant berserker again. Mm-hmm. That's berserker sub theme, I think, at this point, right?
I'll give it to him.
Okay. Red 3. Whenever Surtland Flinger attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Surtland Flinger deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. If the sacrificed creature was a giant, it deals twice that much damage.
Yes.
Now, Surtland Flinger being a giant and us sacrificing giants, if we have Calamity Bearer and any of our damage doublers that we're going to put in this deck, because we're going to, we can deal double, quadruple, octuple, 16-tuple, 32-tuple. I don't even know what those prefixes are at that point.
If we have all three of the cards that we just talked about, let's say we play the enchantment first, and then we play the Calamity Bearer.
So we get 2 Calamity Bearers.
Then we play the Surtland Flinger, so we have 2 Surtland Flingers.
Yes.
We attack with one and sack the other.
We attack with one Surtland Flinger and sacrifice the other.
The other Surtland Flinger. That would then do 4...
Is doubled to 8 from Surtland Flinger.
And then it would be doubled to 16.
From the first Calamity Bearer.
And then it would be doubled to 32.
From the second Calamity Bearer.
And you haven't even done combat damage yet.
And also, we've got in our mini deck tech, just to represent the double damage category, we've got a Furnace of Wrath, which is a 4-drop damage doubler.
Yes.
Which exists sort of on curve, sort of. If you have like a Soul Ring or some early mana acceleration to get this out before your 4-drop like Surtland or Calamity Bearer on turn 4-5, whatever, right?
Right. And you can play the other one. There's the one that triples damage. There's the Dictaste of the Twin Gods.
Yes.
There's all those damage doubling. You can play all of them in here if you want, and you're going to want to when you hear what else we're up to in this deck.
Yeah, very much so. Now, one more thing before we get to the rest of the deck. We'll take a little breather between bouts of heavy damage breathing.
Oh, damage breathing. That's what I. If I was a dragon, that's what I.
If Brando was a game designer, he would just give us preview cards that have damage breathing.
Yes.
We're actually going to look at our last new Kaldheim card before our set review shows called Invasion of the Giants. It's another saga. This one an uncommon for red-blue. Chapter 1 is Scry 2, so it fits right into what I was already talking about with the Scry sub-theme and the shuffling with our commanders,
yes.
right?
Also, Chapter 0 is the picture, and the picture is cool.
Very much so.
I like these. Yeah, all of these are cool.
What is that? Is that a shield? Or a rock carving. I think it's a painting on a shield, or like a long shield, right?
Or a bracer or something, and it's got giants coming over a hill, and there's some fire.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Chapter 2, draw a card, then you may reveal a giant card from your hand. When you do, Invasion of the Giants deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker.
That's okay.
Great to kill a planeswalker, maybe, right? If somebody down-ticked the first one. Great if we have our damage doublers or triplers, because all of a sudden you can say target opponent, and all of a sudden they're taking 4 or 6 or 8. Yeah. Which is actually like 8 damage is fucking good, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, Chapter 3. The next giant you cast this turn costs 2 less to cast.
Nice.
That's a good one.
So it's a ramp card, it's a setup for a good draw card, and then it's an actual draw card and a burn spell.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Not as cool as ours, but cool.
Yeah, very much so.
Ours is way better.
Now, moving back to our actual deck, we've talked about some scrying. I mentioned things like Faithless Looting and Snapcaster Mage to take advantage of Chapter 3 on Battle of Frost and Fire. We could play stuff like Tectonic Reformation and the OG like cycle lands from Onslaught to take advantage of Countryside Crusher. But more so than just that, we do actually have a land stuff category, which would encourage us, like Giants do, to play like 39, 40, 42, 45 land in this deck.
Yes.
So give us a read of some of these cards.
So check this out. We got a treasure hunt.
Treasure hunt.
Blue 1 sorcery. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Put them all in your hand.
Put them all into your hand, so you get all the land.
Yes.
The land is the treasure in this case.
That's right.
And we also get the card that we reveal, right?
Yep.
Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Then put all cards revealed in your hand. I do play this in my 65 land deck, and it is good there. But if we have our next card and we reveal 5 or 6 land and then get a giant, well, we play said giant, and then we play this card.
Seismic Assault.
Oh, baby. Discard a land card. It deals 2 damage to any target.
And if we have our damage doublers, it's 4.
Or 6, or 8.
Or 12.
Oh,
Or 32.
and all of a sudden, we've got 5 or 6 land in our hand. We've got discard a land, deal 4 or 6 damage, and a Countryside Crusher that's now going to attack for 4 or 8 or 16 or 32. Oh, baby.
But let's say the Countryside Crusher just hits a bunch of land off the top. Then we draw a bunch of land with our treasure hunt, right? Then we throw away all of our land to our Seismic Assault to kill a bunch of dudes.
Oh, I know where you're going.
What are we going to do to kill everybody else?
Straight to Cavalier of Flame.
Oh, baby. You mean the 6/5 for red 2 with red 1 fire breathing on your whole team also gives them haste? When it comes into play, you may discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. And when it dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, that's
baby.
the card I mean.
That's so good. So you can attack with somebody, fling him with the Surtland Flinger, and then blow your opponents straight out.
Yeah. I very much like Cavalier of Flame because his first ability, red 1, gives your guys haste. So if it's like late game and we're playing this top of the deck matters, scry, lots of land deck, and we draw the half of our deck that allows us to just like play a land every turn, and because we're encouraging the long game, maybe some burn, sweepers, removal or counterspell interaction type stuff to encourage the long game. If we, late game, turn 10 or 12, drop a 6 or 7 drop giant, we can pay 4 or 6 more into that and give it haste and make it even bigger.
And since we have 8 ways to double all the damage they're going to do, that's dividends, baby. That is good.
And at this point in time, we should note that things like Borderland, Behemoth, Furnace of Wrath, the Fiery Emancipation,
there it is,
Seismic Assault, like double or triple red pips. So Keranos, God of Storms, no trouble. And Keranos, God of Storms, when we reveal one of our 42 land and he shocks somebody for that, yeah, now shock is 4 or 6 or 8. Yeah.
So good.
Very excellent. Okay, now if that's not enough damage, and if we don't have it quite beat into the heads of everybody listening yet, we got a couple more damage cards.
Now we talked about flinging with our Surtland Flinger.
Yes.
Why don't we just play fling and fling accessories?
Yes.
Because we could. Why don't we play cards like Soulfire, where target creature you control in play deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player?
Very much so.
Maybe we could play that. Maybe we could play the Ryan Special and rock a Chandra's Ignition.
Oh, baby. Can you imagine doing your Hamlet back Goliath and Rite of Replication thing that I talked about? They're all 36s. And then next turn you just go like, Chandra's Ignition. Everybody fucking dies.
That also works really good with just Okun, because if you happen to get lucky with coin flips.
Oh, you win a couple coin flips, you double and then double his power.
He's just big enough to win the game by himself right there.
I think what do? You when you win a coin flip, you double his power.
Yeah.
You win a coin flip, you double his power. So he goes from 4 to 8 to 16.
Yeah.
And then let's say you go like you have a Furnace of Wrath out, and then you go Chandra's Ignition. Everybody takes
32. It's pretty good.
That's pretty good, just based on get your chip-ins, kids, early game. Get in with those little mana dorks if you're not using them. Attack for 2, attack for 1, right? Don't be scared, right? Don't be scared. Nobody's going to retaliate so bad for attacking for 1.
And if they do, just don't play with that person.
Yeah, and or remember, shock lands exist, as do fetch lands. And people are going to be at 35, 34, just incidentally.
They're playing City of Brass. There's lots of Wooburg stuff.
Yeah, City of Brass, and also like the draw 2, lose 2 in black. Like, people are gonna be around 35 by the time you start dropping Chandra's Ignitions.
And now we're cooking them with 1 card. Whew. But here it is. Maybe people are saying, oh, they're talking about giants. They're talking about doing damage.
They're talking about these big mana, totally unplayable 6 drops.
Yeah, damage doublers. This isn't Kaldheim themed. Where's the metal, right? Where's the gods fighting giants? That's what Kaldheim's all about. It's about giants rising up from the depths and storming the Rainbow Bridge and burning down frickin' castles and shit. Why aren't they talking about that kind of fighting?
Well, just wait, CCO Nation. We've got one more guy. Our savior.
Our leading man. Dude, you could paint him with a little mic in his hand, like a mohawk and some spikes.
Our boy,
Brash Taunter, because you are damn right he goes in this deck. Because maybe, just maybe, you have a couple of damage doublers, but you can still only swing in for 16. 16 is bullshit.
Or I got you. Maybe you've got a damage doubler and like only 4 land in hand and somebody's at like not enough life and you got your Seismic Assault and you discard the Seismic Assault to deal 4, 6, 8 doubled damage, 16 to Brash Taunter. Brash Taunter, when he deals it to an opponent, is doubled again. Now it's 32.
Now it's lethal again.
And same goes for Chandra's Ignition for 32 or whatever we said. Yeah. No, try 64.
Oh, you like Battle of Fire and Ice doing 4 to him? No, let's do 16. Yeah, now we're talking.
Oh, baby.
It's another reason why Brash Taunter, the Lord and Savior of CCO Nation and Magic in general, will go in this deck. He will fight the fight against the gods. He will fight the fight against the giants, and he will win.
Yep.
Or I guess we will win
every time. Now, last card I want to mention. It's not in the mini deck tech here, as like the scry stuff isn't in there. The brainstorms, the mana rocks aren't in there. But I think this is one that could maybe go in, and this is a commonplace in Saga.dec. Is a card called Power Conduit, which lets you tap to remove a counter from a permanent you control and choose one. Put a charge counter on target artifact or put a +1 counter on target creature. We would probably choose to put a +1 on target creature.
Hell yeah.
But what we would choose to remove would be a lore counter from a saga. And we would keep our Battle of Frost and Fire maybe at 1 lore counter. Right? So at the start of our turn, we put the first lore counter on it all the time to always deal 4 damage to each non-giant creature, which would give us 4 or 8 or 16 damage from Brash Taunter, and or keep the board clear. Or it would allow us to, every time we cast a giant spell for 5 or more, because that's what they fucking cost, draw 2 and discard a card. Makes Underwear Breach better, like Underworld Breach. And for Invasion of the Giants, we would keep that one at the next giant spell you cast this turn costs 2 less.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and then that it only kind of works for like 1 giant per turn, but realistically 1 giant per turn is what we're going to cast.
Probably. Or we could just leave it at 2 and just draw a card, reveal a giant, and lava axe something.
Yes. Well, and with the brainstorms, the ponders, the preordains, and I use those because they're the most common 3. But if we have cards like that, we can always sculpt the top of our deck. Sensei's Divining top, Scroll Rack just reprinted, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're putting together this top deck manipulation, very is-it deck. But instead of doing is-it things to win the game, like Labman or
some kind of ridiculous storm combo,
1,000-Year Storm or whatever, no, we are just going to turn guys sideways, Brash Taunter or otherwise, and just pound somebody into the dirt for like 86 damage.
And sure, you're only going to have 1, 2 creatures, but who cares because they swing for 100.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
And when they're done swinging for 100, they're going to fight Brash Taunter and just do 100.
Yep. Very much so, because Brash Taunter just taps to fight something, right? So you kill 2 people, and then the other person, you save up your counterspell mana for your Rift not overloaded mana, right? Because you don't give a shit if there's only 1 person, and you've got some protection built in as well. You get your Lightning Greaves, your Swiftfoot Boots, and you're fucking set.
I think it'd be a cool deck.
That's the deck.
I'm excited to build it. I'm excited to hear if other people want to build it.
Very much so. And remember, preferred Decklist channel on the Discord. It's one of the benefits to becoming a patron. There is also our janky AF Decklist channel where this would probably go. But if you did want to use it, any card we talked about today in a spikier manner, we do have a competitive Decklist channel there as well. And you know what? If Giants take off in Standard, hey, fuck, who knows? Maybe Battle of Frost and Fire might actually see some play. And I feel like I'm contributing to the greater Magic sphere with this card.
Look at us go.
Scrying is good.
Scrying is fine.
Scrying is good.
Doing 4 damage to everything is
Doing
good.
4 damage to good on to everything on chapter 1 is good. That's why people would play that card.
Yeah.
Everything else is gravy, and then late game or chapter 3, it's like, hey, I'm going to draw 2, discard 1 when I play my 5-drop, right? Like, this card could see standard play.
Standard, there's no EDH play.
I'm just saying, we got a card that is EDH playable that we've demonstrated, I think, quite well. And this could be a card, depending on how giants shake up in the standard format, they could see play outside of our format, which is special.
I'm into that. I like that.
That's cool, eh?
Look at that go. Look at us go.
That's
neat.
That's cool. Now, I think that's all for the bonus episode, unless you have anything else to add. Why don't you thank our glorious business daddies, tell everybody where they can pick up Battle of Frost and Fire and Greater Kaldheim in general with a discount, and then let them know the final thought of the day.
You can do all of the things that Ryan just said over at fusiongamingonline.com. They're your sorts for all of your Kaldheim needs and all of your Battle of Frost and Fires and whatever other Kaldheim stuff you decide to pick up. There's only one card on the must-have list. And there it is.
Get your Brash Taunters and your Battles of Frost and Fires.
There it is. I guess that's 2
They
cards
actually
on the
gave
must-have
us
list.
a card with lots of F's in it.
Yeah.
It's like they were listening.
No. Big thanks to them, they being Wizards of the Coast, for providing to us totally for free our very first preview card. It's been a great time talking about it, and it actually made us very proud to get to see the comments that we got one, that people being so happy for us.
Proud of CCO Nation too for sticking with us and being such a great audience, right? To share and to really advertise our show by telling their friends about it and sharing and following and subscribing and all that stuff that helps the show grow. Like I told Wizards of the Coast when we were going back and forth, sorry I'm interrupting your final thought of the day, but I told Wizards, we're growing and people like the show, and it's not just people from around our town. It's not just Canadians. There's people in the land of the free. There's people in Europe. We got an email the other day from a guy in Shanghai.
Cool.
Yeah, Australians and there's so many more. I'm sorry I'm leaving out lots of countries and groups of people, but there's a lot of people that are part of CCO Nation.
Worldwide, baby.
Because of you all that we got this card, and it's very exciting and humbling.
Yeah. So I'm proud of you. You're proud of us. It's a circle jerk of pride.
Oh, I love circle jerks, especially of pride.
And we're so happy to be here. Thank you again to everybody that contributed to it. You for listening to us with your ear holes and your eye holes and every other hole that you listen to the show with each and every week. Thanks to me and Ryan for being here and putting up with all this crap. Thanks to Wizards for finally acknowledging that we put out so much crap. And I guess thanks to me for building this mini deck tech to have on the show.
Thanks for just including Brash Taunter in another fucking deck.
You're very welcome. Anytime. Yeah. So if you decide to build it, let me know. If you think this is a cool shell that you have some ideas for, let me know. Maybe I'll end up building it and we'll do it on the show with either your list or mine or a combination of the two. And we're going to do that very soon on another very special episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!